Welcome, everyone, or anyone. No idea how many of you are watching this. Um, I'm Greenlaw, and I hear that at least one of you, and I hope many more, might be interested in a course that I'm presenting at the Women's Institute this fall. And it's called, as you could read on the screen, I hope, From the Great Storm to the Great Pandemic. 25 years of travel adventures, 35 years, excuse me, of travel adventures. As some of you may know, from the past, my wife and I have planned and escorted groups of travelers to various destinations in the British Isles, Ireland, and the continent of Europe. We have visited more than 20 countries. We've stayed at dozens of splendid hotels. I'll show you two or three of my favorite ones there. You'll get to see them again if you sign up for the course. Wonderful hotels, as there are so many of in Europe. We have seen more than 100 country houses, a number of them here, that again, you will see again later on, I hope, as well as palaces. And we've been to castles and cathedrals, and we've met some extraordinary people, some of whom are alive and some of whom are not at this point, and a lot of very friendly, ordinary people as well. One of our best friends now that we met on a trip, and we'll talk about him during our course as well. As I said, many of our travelers have become best friends. And over this 35 years, we've had wonderful groups who have traveled with us and a wonderful time. And as this experience begins to come to an end for us, I'd like to share some of these experiences with you. We're going to begin this course in London, our favorite and most frequented city, where we began our expeditions in 1987 with a very interesting tour of the financial centers of London, a tour that for various reasons could not be repeated today, and ended with one of the most famous disasters in the history of Britain. And I'll say right up to the front here, it was a natural disaster. We did not cause it, though it affected not only this trip, but a number of others as well. Well, 6 years later, we began which would be 1993, excuse me. We began an unbroken streak of trips of almost 30 years that ended only with COVID in 1920. Although we've done trips since then, but we had a break for that 1 year. And within a short time, beginning in 1993, we were doing generally 2 trips a year. 1 year we did 3, and between actual group trips and preview visits, in some years we were out of the country for more than 3 months. Well, after a short stint in various parts of the British Isles, including the Highlands of Scotland, where we met one of our favorite friends that we met on the trip, and we went to Ireland. We got up the courage finally to visit the continent. And after realizing that people wouldn't bite, we spent time in various parts of, we went to Ireland and then to Northern Ireland on a later trip. We went to France. We went to various parts of France, not as many as I would like, but we did many from top to bottom in here. We went to Mont Saint Michel in Normandy and in Brittany on that first particular trip. And there's a group of our travelers on a wonderful souvenir that was put together for us after one of our French trips as well. We loved Italy, and we've done several trips in Italy. You may recognize Venice in the background. With this particular trip, this was part of a sometimes seemingly endless trip across the north of Italy, from Venice to the Lakes district in here, with wonderful stops along the way, but concluded in the Italian lakes, particularly on Lake Como and Lake Maggiore. On that particular trip, we were in the footsteps of our former president, George Bush, and they thought we were part of his retinue who were coming a little late. And so we were treated royally, as you might imagine, with that was George Bush's boat. Come out on George Bush's boat. Oh, George Bush did this. Come out on this, and we were able to wangle a wonderful place for our final party on our trip. So Italy was quite a special trip. We went to Spain. We went to Portugal. Oh, excuse me, we're still in Italy. We went to Rome one day as well. As I said, we went to Spain and to Portugal on two separate trips. If you sign up for the course, I'll tell you why one was a great success, and one, well, we don't talk so much about the other, but I'll tell you a little bit about it on here as well. Portugal was one of our favorite places. This is Sintra, outside of Lisbon, and we've had a couple of splendid trips to the Netherlands as well, and through it all, even to the north parts of Scandinavia. Eventually, we again got up sort of the courage and went to Eastern Europe. We went to Austria on two different occasions. We went to the Czech Republic on two different occasions as well, and to Hungary, as you see here. Here's Salzburg in Austria, splendid place, particularly if it doesn't rain, which it did while we were there. We went to several venues in the Czech Republic. Here is one of our favorite guides that we ever hired on a trip, telling us all about Budapest as we overlooked the Danube River. And eventually, we even got to Russia. Two visits to Russia, in fact, that today, even though they were only the oldest one about 20 years ago, where Peter the Great welcomed us there, a visit to Russia today seems so distant and exotic and basically unimaginable in some ways. We were extraordinarily fortunate that we were able to do two wonderful trips there, and I'll tell you all about them. We fell in love with several of the great cities of Europe, in Spain, of Madrid, of Seville, as we see here, in Lisbon, in Portugal, in Paris, of course, in Vienna, in Rome, and in Amsterdam. Then on to Dresden and Budapest and St. Petersburg and even Moscow in Russia. Two particular favorites of ours over the years, and we came back several times, were Venice on the one hand and Prague on the other. Jeff Francis and I have visited Prague 6 times, I think. We loved it there. We took groups twice. We'd love to go back, but thankfully we visited Prague before Prague has been discovered with the enormous crowds that forced us to seek rather calmer climes. Through all this, we never abandoned Britain. We have taken groups to every section of England, from Cornwall in the south to Northumberland and the Lake District in the north. We've been to Scotland, to the lowlands. We've been to Scotland, to the highlands. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the two in Scotland, isn't it? We've had two wonderful trips to Wales and several different adventures in Wales. We're about to embark on one of them here in one of our earliest trips. We've been to Ireland on a number of occasions. I'd like to say that's where we stayed in Ireland, but we didn't. We didn't travel that way either. We've been to Dublin on a number of occasions. And as I said earlier, we were particularly fortunate, I think, to outwait the IRA, and finally it was possible to go to Northern Ireland, one of the most beautiful places on the most beautiful coast in the world. There is Northern Ireland. There are islands, and I love islands, and we have been to a number of islands and been fortunate to take groups with us on several occasions, particularly to places like the Orkneys, the wonderful archaeological sites, and then on to the Faroe Islands. If anybody asks me where is the most beautiful place that you've ever been, I would have a hard time not saying the Faroe Islands, which was a special trip that we ended with a visit to the almost fictional island, although it's not, of St. Kilda. This wonderful island 30 miles off the coast of Scotland, where in some ways you feel like you've been to the end of the world. Whoops, I thought we had one other picture there for a minute, but we didn't. Just want to get back to St. Kilda again. Sometimes you feel like you've been to the end of the world. Sometimes you almost experience it. And the picture I thought was going to be in there of our windswept arrival at St. Kilda. Again, I hope I will show you a later point. Well, I can't say we were particularly adventurous. We were caught up on one occasion in an IRA bank robbery and murder. We were prevented from visiting certain venues in London on two different occasions, first by Irish IRA and then by Palestinian activists. At a time, we thought we might never get home, and we can finally go back to this. This was our pink bus trip, one of our several North American trips. I'm only going to talk about one on this particular course. This one in the wilderness of Cape Breton in the Canadian Maritimes. Not particularly exciting, but it was, well, we felt we survived this particular example. And finally, as several of you know personally, we have been blessed to be able to spend a week on 6 occasions at one of the classic country houses of England, Weston Park, from which, while we were there, we issue each day to explore many specially arranged visits to private homes, to the glory of the beautiful and little-known county of Shropshire. Several of you know we've had a wonderful guide, not Jo Francis, although she's a wonderful guide too, on the right, but our very dear and close friend Gareth Williams, who's the curator at Weston Park and arranges our special times there. In Weston Park, has become, for several of us who have been on several of the trips, a second home in England. It is a marvelous house in its own right. It is a great place to spend a week. It is a wonderful place to come back to every night and to dine in splendor in the great dining room. On one occasion, we were there for Halloween, perhaps as you can see. And we are going to say a final goodbye to Weston Park this October. It will be our last trip, as we said, of our country house in England. And in many ways, a visit to Weston Park sort of sums up the 35 years that we have had and enjoyed. Shay has given me 10 weeks, extraordinarily generous, on Monday mornings, beginning in mid-September, to show you not just what I've shown you here, but to show you much more of the times, the visits, and the fun that we have had over that period of time. And so I hope you will come and sign up for the course. I hope you come and enjoy it and maybe contribute something to it as well. So we'll hope to see you, a group of you, in September, I think 18th, it's not 17th or something like that. At any rate, in mid-September, look at the schedule from Weston Park, and we'll see you all at that time.